I'm Larry Tillemans from Minnesota. I'm an old soldier. I had experience at the clerk-typist at Nuremberg and Dachau war crime trials. And I'd like to tell a bit about it.
In the Palace of Justice in Nuremberg, the people of the world came together. For there sat the International Military Tribunal to judge the chief Nazi war criminals.
As a soldier there in 3rd Army, they needed clerk-typists, and I was qualified as a clerk-typist, so I had the opportunity of doing work or typing from affidavits that were used at the trials.
Prisoners of war attempting to escape are to be fired on without previous challenge. No warning shot must be fired.
I'll never forget the first time that I came into that court hall or the palace and saw the seated 24 of the Nazi so-called criminals were seated there. I remember looking at Goering and wondering, my God, that's the second in command to Hitler. And here I was just a kid in the army, just 18 years old, and I was looking second in command of the Nazis.
More proof of this savage Nazi policy comes from the affidavit of Kurt Lindau, former Gestapo officer.
They existed in the prisoner of war camp.
When he heard of the horrors after he landed in Germany and what they were going to be doing, and he would read the ticker tape or see this constant commotion coming out of the trials and then take these depositions and type them up, he remembers sitting up at night and just crying in his bunk because it was just so terrible news for anybody to listen to. And I think being exposed from a small Minnesota town, it was just overwhelming.
Their rise to power was...
I did cry. I cried at nights thinking about what those guys had done to those innocent people and all the pictures they'd flash on the screen.
Culminating finally in terror and flame.
So for Dad to have gone through the steps of alcoholism and the recovery, part of those is to go and help other people.
And I feel that God was giving me advice. Tell other people about it. You're sober now. You quit drinking. That's part of it. And the other part of it is to tell about the Holocaust. I had to feel it was part of my duty to tell people just what happened. Because we have people today that just don't want to even talk about it. We have people today that deny it even happened. Countries deny it happened. And I'm on a campaign right now to tell them just what I heard and what I saw. And those are the facts.
Get your game on, Dad.
I'm 85 years old. Traveling is tiring, but if you got something that you can help other people with, I feel it every morning when I get up. What can I do to help somebody?
So we're loaded.
This is a beautiful view right here with all of these. I started for the most part about 24 years ago putting on sessions to people, and there were, whether they'd be a school or church or jails, prisons, I talked to them all. I did over 400 presentations and many hours at it, and I haven't had anybody get up and walk out.
My dad loves to talk in front of crowds. He's a wonderful promoter, and I think he just decided, plus in addition being recently retired and having some time on his hands, this was how he took up a calling.
All right, thank you very much. I was asked, well, what is the Holocaust? How can you explain what the Holocaust is? I think this is the simplest explanation you can give, and it's in that handouts I got there. Imagine yourself in a land where your countrymen follow the voice of a political extremist who did not like your religion. Imagine having everything. Nazism taught hate and 110,770,000 people died. Think of that if you would. Some 1,000 Army personnel were assigned duty at Nuremberg. You can imagine how many guards it took to have 20,000, 40,000, 60,000 in one of these camps. See the bodies piled up in front of the crematorium at Dachau. Here's a Nazi officer standing amongst bodies. And this is what you saw, and you'll never forget it. I'm talking here for half an hour, and you can't begin to say the enormity of what those trials were. 200,000 affidavits, and you got people saying it's a myth, it never did happen. What would life be like in America if we had lost? Just think of that. And with that, I think that I'll close. And thank you very much for having me.
Take it easy next week, or?
Yeah, I am.
Thank you for sharing your story.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very interesting.
Thank God you like it.
Take a picture for us, just push that middle button right there.